ETH has just broken past a massive area of resistance, with all of the ETH updates that are coming this year bringing scalability and massively lower fees. ETH is on its way to 10K. This video is sponsored by Bloxstaking, but more about them later on. I think people are only now starting to realize that there's going to be a massive supply shock. That means not enough ETH for people to buy at the current prices. And this is something that's already been seen on exchanges. So Ethereum supply on exchanges has dropped below 90% for the first time since December 2018. Now you might be wondering, where is all of this ETH going? Well, I mean, you've got the long-term hodlers, of course, but then you've got people that are staking their ETH on Ethereum 2.0. And this ETH that's staked there, they can't just take it out. So this is locked away for the next 2 years at least. Then you've also got all of the ETH locked up in DeFi, being used in different smart contracts. So people are actually using their ETH to do a lot of stuff in the DeFi ecosystem, securing the Ethereum blockchain, and they're not willing to sell. That means a lot less ETH is available for newer people entering the market. Huge supply shock means huge price shock.
Nice.
And this is something that is already happening. ETH has already outperformed Bitcoin in terms of ROI in the last year, and I think 2021 it's not going to be any different, especially with the massive amount of use cases in the Ethereum space. If you're new to the channel and you want cryptocurrency fundamentals, tutorials, and a lot more, then I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button as well as the bell, as YouTube doesn't always want to show you all of the videos that I make, and I don't want you to miss out. So that brings us to the following fun graphic with all of the massive DeFi ecosystem, also the layer 2s and side chains that have popping up. I mean, yeah, people are complaining about the massively high gas fees, but you have to realize that we are actually probably the last people that will be doing layer 1 transactions. The future is on layer 2 and side chains. Most of these side chains, it doesn't really matter which one will have a type of bridge. For example, Matic will have a bridge with Phantom or a bridge with Near, which is not a side chain but another blockchain. And layer 1 transactions will be eliminated. Also on Ethereum 2.0. The future is in layer 2s. So it's no secret that Ethereum has a massive head start in terms of ecosystem. It's all Ethereum at the moment. Other blockchains, they've got a lot of catching up to do in terms of DeFi development and so on. Talking about scalability, Optimism is something that many people are looking forward to. It should launch July of this year, and Optimism is a layer 2 scalability solution for Ethereum. Optimism is one of the most anticipated scaling solutions for Ethereum to happen before Ethereum 2.0 upgrade, and it should allow for 100x scalability on Ethereum before Ethereum 2.0. So even with Ethereum 2.0, Ethereum 2.0 will also have layer 2s. So these layer 2s will allow for much cheaper transactions on the Ethereum proof of work blockchain. In just a few days, on the 15th of April at block 12,244,000, there's going to be the Berlin upgrade. It brings a little bit of transaction fee relief, but nothing that you're really gonna notice. Layer 2 is there, but I still like that this update is bringing, because it brings quite a few good improvements to the Ethereum blockchain, but it's mostly for developers and so on. So you can actually keep track of this upgrade if you just like a massive ETH fan and you like anything to do with countdowns and Ethereum upgrades. I highly recommend that you go to ethernodes.org, and in 5 days, 5 hours, 60 minutes, so depending on when I upload this video, you can actually celebrate it. I think you're part of history. You have to keep that in mind. In 10 years time, people will be talking about all of these developments that have happened, and yeah, it's really important. And I think people don't realize how important of a time we're living in terms of decentralized finance. Before I continue with the price charts on where ETH can go in terms of USD valuation as well, whereas Bitcoin valuation in the next few weeks, months, and until the end of the year, I highly recommend that you try out Bloxstaking. John would like to start staking his 32 ETH and start benefiting from the high staking rewards. Unfortunately, running a validator is difficult and many things can go wrong. That's when he found Bloxstaking. It's the world's first non-custodial ETH2 staking platform. With the Bloxstaking desktop app and a simple step-by-step process, John can easily start running his own validator in the cloud. The important part is that he never shares his private keys in the process. If you also want to benefit from a non-custodial staking solution, then make sure to check out Bloxstaking today by clicking on the link in the description below and let your ETH generate more ETH for you. Let's have a look on the ETH BTC chart in terms of weekly time frame. In my opinion, Ethereum at the moment is the better bet, and like if you want to accumulate more BTC, because I believe ETH will outperform BTC in terms of this ETH BTC valuation. So if we look at the current price, now we're back at the above the 0.03, and the lows was back in August 2019, and we had a steady uptrend. So ETH was continuously gaining in value towards Bitcoin, and at the moment we're at a very important point in time, because the current price and this pump is very, very similar to what we actually experienced back in April, March 2017, before the massive ICO boom. So I think as DeFi and the scalability solutions get implemented into the Ethereum blockchain, we're going to experience a very similar boom and actually increase in valuation towards BTC, because it actually has a lot more use cases. BTC is the gold in the banks. Ethereum is the banks and the whole economy. It's very similar to having an iPhone or an Android phone, and Ethereum is actually the phone and BTC is the calculator on the phone. It's one use case, fantastic use case, no questions about that, but you can't really do that much about it. You can hodl your BTC and hope for it to increase in price, but with ETH you can actually tap into a massive ecosystem of financial services that can let you do a lot more with your money without having to rely on third-party services. You've got derivatives, you've got trading without KYC, AML. You can send funds relatively cheaply now with layer 2 solutions, and a lot more. So the first increase that I actually am anticipating, also thanks to the upgrades that are happening, you've got the Berlin hard fork, you've got the London hard fork, you've got the merge, which should happen at the end of the year, Q1 2022. So a 37% increase is likely to happen in the next few months, and then 145% increase, which would bring us to the 8,000 sat level. And then afterwards, I'm really looking forward to us breaking above the all-time highs in terms of BTC valuation. And this is something that I'm anticipating possibly end of the year, maybe sometime next year. The more people start using Ethereum, the more use cases there are, and people realize that you can do a lot more, and you can actually bring your BTC onto the Ethereum blockchain to do a lot more with your BTC. Well, it's just a thing that is going to happen, no question about it. I'm super bullish on it. Now, of course, I do believe in a multi-chain future, but I still think Ethereum has a massive place in this ecosystem. It's going to be dominating for a while. The ETH BTC price also broke above the Ichimoku cloud, which is signaling a bullish trend. Now, I do want to see a cross. The blue line should cross this red line, and this should happen in the next few days. Now, with this pump, I anticipate something like that happening. And when that happens, we're going to start moving upwards towards, first of all, the next mini resistance, which would be 4,400, and then we'll get to the bigger 5,000 sat resistance on the daily timeline. So this is in terms of the next few weeks, what can happen. Now, if we look at the ETH USD price, I'm really happy about it. We actually broke past the massive resistance, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, of $1,900, and we actually printed a new high, and this is really incredible. I mean, I've been talking about ETH like since 2019 at the lows, and I've always been extremely bullish on ETH, and it's really, really rewarding to see how much ETH has grown in that time span. And I do not see it stopping anywhere soon, because the DeFi space has so many more use cases now than it did in 2019. So it is not only speculation. I believe it's definitely not only speculation, but mainly due to the use cases, because people have to buy ETH in order to use DeFi. It's like buying gas for your car. You have to always buy it in order to use the car. And because the car can offer so many more use cases for you, it just makes sense. It's a no-brainer. So many people are buying ETH just to like spend on smart contracts and so on. Of course, at the moment, it's a rich guy's game. But with layer 2s, a lot more like people with maybe less funds can tap into yield farming, can do some token swaps and so on using the Matic sidechain, or maybe Phantom sidechain. I've made a few videos. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because I will be showing you how you actually can use many of these DeFi options, not only on Ethereum but also on these sidechains, so that you can actually start learning and do a lot more with your money. So the next bigger resistance in terms of USD valuation is going to be $2,250. And then afterwards, we're going to be looking at the $3,500 range. And I think this is definitely possible until July, August, that we'll actually touch the $3,000 range. And then afterwards, we'll continue higher, because we're still not that far above our previous all-time high that we had in February 2018. So if you look at the massive growth that BTC has experienced compared to its all-time high, Ethereum is an asset that actually lags behind BTC. So it's normal that it's also lagging in terms of how much price increase it has experienced compared to its previous all-time high. So I'm super bullish on ETH, and yeah. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you in the next one. Make sure to leave a like. I'd highly appreciate that. And yeah, enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.